First things first, I hope everyone had a great Christmas this year, despite the fact that we had probably the biggest winter storm in a long time, blasting the entire country with cold air and ice and snow. But regardless, I hope everyone had a good Christmas. I was about to say Donald Trump has finally snapped, but that happened a long time ago. He released this video statement on Truth Social, blasting the January 6th final report by the January 6th Select Committee. And honestly, you can have it. Take a look at this.
We wanted security. We wanted safety. There was no insurrection, and there wasn't going to be an insurrection. It was made up by these sick people. Nancy Pelosi and the D.C. mayor refused. If they'd listened to me, my recommendation, none of this would have happened, and you wouldn't have heard about January 6th as we know it. They covered up multiple tweets, and they covered up a video which were censored by Twitter and the FBI, in which I called for law and order and for no violence. And then they pushed an absurd and discredited story where I supposedly lunged for the steering wheel in an attempt to commandeer a presidential limousine. Think of it. I lunged for a steering wheel, and they believe that story. Nobody believes that story. The committee barely even discussed the catastrophic security failures at the Capitol, and they didn't discuss the other thing, the reason that everybody went there, the election, which was a corrupt disaster. They did not discuss why the doors were flung wide open for people to walk right in, and they didn't discuss the role of federal informants. Most importantly, the Unselect Committee did not produce a single shred of evidence that I in any way intended or wanted violence at our Capitol. The evidence does not exist because the claim is baseless and a monstrous lie. They know it. It's just like the Russia hoax. This is absolutely no different. It's misinformation, the only thing they're good at. Cheating in elections, misinformation. The events of January 6th were not an insurrection. They were a protest that tragically got out of control and which the left has been weaponizing ever since to censor, spy on, and persecute American citizens. The entire phony hoax is about taking away your speech, taking away your vote, and taking away your freedom. These are sick people. These are Marxists.
I apologize for putting you all through that. I really am, because this was just, oh man. As I said earlier in the video, I would say that Donald Trump has finally snapped, but he snapped a long time ago. This is just another piece of, the old saying goes, just when you think you hit rock bottom, there's another sub-basement, and another sub-basement after that. This is just another sub-basement for Donald Trump. He says that he actually went to Nancy Pelosi and the D.C. mayor saying that if they'd listened to me, January 6th might not have happened the way they thought it was. Trump, you still haven't proven any kind of evidence that you asked for security for National Guard troops. The commander of the National Guard himself went on their oath and testified that he never got any orders from you, that he said he was ready for the orders from you. You didn't give the order. And you're saying that someone censored that video and those tweets where you called for law and order. You mean that video that you made 187 minutes after the attack? You think that tweet, the first tweet that you asked, that you told the people that all that Mike Pence has to do was overturn the election by sending the electoral votes back to the states and replacing them with ones that are sympathetic to you? I want to be clear about that, Trump. I really do. But the story about lunging for a steering wheel, even that sounds a little far-fetched. But considering what kind of a person you are, I wouldn't put it past you, honestly. Now, you say you want to talk about security failures. Why didn't you order the National Guard as the commander in chief of the United States Armed Forces? Why did you not give the order to get the National Guard down there? You didn't have to go to Nancy Pelosi or the DC mayor. You could have informed them that that's what you're going to do, and maybe they would have approved considering the circumstances. But you did not give the order, Trump. You didn't. We have an entire timeline that the National Guard said we were waiting for the order, we were waiting for the order, we didn't get the order. And the BS of your electoral fraud crap. Did you not just see that Carrie Lake lost her lawsuit? And it's probably going to be sanctioned by that? Seriously, what exactly is going to have to happen for you to accept the fact that you lost an election of the people, in which you lost? And you say you have no evidence for calling for violence. Now, you're a mobster, Trump. You're a gangman. You're nothing more than a mafioso. You know how to call for violence without necessarily calling for violence. In that tweet, in those tweets that you posted, pressuring your MAGA freaks to come to Washington D.C., already angry that you lost the election, already screaming for civil war, and you did stop them. You didn't say we're not going to war, we're not going to fight, we're not going to fight a war. You said on that day, on January 6th, fight like hell. If you don't fight like hell, you don't have a country. You said that to a bunch of amped up redneck idiots wearing those red hats, screaming, "Make America Great Again." What did you think was going to happen? And you not calling this an insurrection. You may be right. This was a fucking terrorist attack, a domestic terrorist attack. Now, you can phrase it as an insurrection. That's probably what they want to do. Because it might be. But in my view, January 6th was a domestic terrorist attack carried out by you and by the Republicans in office and by the Trumpers, the MAGA. And and what's really bothering me about all of this is just you really don't know when to stop Trump. You honestly have no concept of shutting your mouth. You could just tote the loss and walk away and plan for 2024. But now you announced in 2022, before this year was over with, to announce you're going to run for president, not because you want to be president again, not because you want to make America great again. You're doing it because you think it'll save you from a prison cell. It's not going to work, Trump. And this video I just showed all of you is further evidence showing how scared Donald Trump really is. The walls are closing in on him. His tax records are being released. This report is being given to the DOJ by now. And more to the point, we are getting more and more evidence that you caused a terrorist attack upon this country. And no one is going to save you, Trump. No one. So you can make all the videos saying, I won the election, I won, they stole it from me, all you want, despite the evidence to the contrary. You want to scream that January 6th wasn't a terrorist attack, despite the evidence to the contrary. Now you want to scream about how the door was left open. Explain to me why we had people screaming for Nancy Pelosi to be killed. Explain to me why a young woman was killed by a Capitol police officer trying to break in to the congressional office. Explain to me why we had MAGA running around through the congressional chamber, looking through documents, trying to figure out who was loyal and who wasn't. Enough, Trump. Walk away. CTP Know The Truth. God bless. Again, I hope everyone had a great Christmas. Thank you. Thank you all for watching, and more to come in the coming days. Peace to the left, justice to the right.